Hello, this is Lorena, and I'm back with another Duel Links video. Again, why? And I am planning to finish up the assistal missions here. For some reason, we still don't know why, but we know I'm obsessed with this game. And yeah, I ended the last video on a topic that was very disturbing. You know, like my nightmares. I actually have been known to have a lot of nightmares, to be honest. And I recently told my dad about that dream where I saw a figure that reminded me of someone from The Exorcist. And that was actually a false awakening loop, which basically means you wake up, but you're still dreaming. And that often means a repetitive loop, but I was so scared that I just woke up. The false awakening loop ended because I just woke up. I couldn't handle seeing it. And I don't remember what the figure looked like. I just remember it was terrifying. Very, very terrifying. So, avoiding horror movies to avoid getting horror-like nightmares. My success rate has been questionable. In fact, I would say there's not much of a difference, actually. But how did I get someone that terrifying in my nightmares? How was someone like that able to be in my nightmares when I avoid that kind of shit like the plague? Like, the visuals from that nightmare was how I avoid that shit. And dear Lord, I was freaking scared. When I woke up, I made sure that I wouldn't fall asleep again. And then I probably went back to sleep later, but I don't remember how long I stayed up. I just know it was terrifying, and I had to wake up because of it. Probably the only false awakening loop that didn't become so tiring that it nearly woke me up. I mean, there have been false awakening loops where I've been trying to wake up, and it just wasn't happening. It wasn't happening. Although there was that one dream where I was actually so exhausted that instead of sleeping, I woke up. That was that dream where I was saving the planet and the final boss just kept respawning over and over and over and over. That was annoying as hell, and I had help. And I was still tired. Oh my god. I was so tired. Ugh. And yeah, I did in fact have help, but, you know, help doesn't necessarily make it less tiring. I mean, really. Alright, so, yeah, the transformation that Yubel went through is one of the most terrifying things I have ever heard described. Like, that is more graphic than some of the things I've watched that is actually a bit worse, you know? Like, this is a card game anime. I mean, a card game franchise, so obviously things aren't going to get too dark. But that is one of the most messed up things I've ever read about. And I have never been that obsessed with anyone. I mean, I know what I say, but I've never been so obsessed I would go through that kind of I would never go through that kind of torture. It doesn't matter how much I love you, I would not do that. Ever. I mean, really. I mean, I'm sure that it would be nice to... Oh god, no, it's so bad. I read in the description that even Jaden's past life self just couldn't handle it. He was just looking away. And I'm just like, I wonder why. I would too. I mean, I don't think I would even be able to be in the same room. I'd have nightmares about that entire transformation my friends just went through. I'd have so many nightmares about that day. And I'm not sure how Yubel had to be influenced by an evil force to be evil, because I mean, what? I mean, I guess to make it easy to redeem them. But, come on. After what they went through, I would have gone batshit. I would have done much worse. I would have done much, much worse. I don't think I'd have been forgiven. I think I would probably just be killed. Oh my god. Yeah, I feel like I'm that bad. But that would be only after going through some of the shit they did. If I had to go through that entire thing, I would be so much worse. So much worse, I would be irredeemable. There'd be no way I would... There would just be no getting through to me. At all. I'd go insane. I mean, okay, Yubel went insane. But, I mean... I know they did all of this horrible shit. Okay, I got that. I still acknowledge that, okay? It's just, I feel like I do so much worse. And after some of the things I've read about what they did in the Set version, I'm just like, I'd still be worse. I'd still be worse. You know, that's kind of difficult to say. How would I be worse? How would I be worse? Oh, well, trust me, I've got my ways. Do I really want to say things in that way? Oh, well, okay, I came up with a plot once, you know? Like, do I really want to discuss this? Well, anyway, I feel like sometimes I ended up with this... How would I talk about this even if I just spill it out? I mean, I don't even know what's going to be consistent in the future. But when I write, it's basically in a timeless setting. Time doesn't progress. Although time can be symbolized in a way that is progressed. But it doesn't progress in the way that we're familiar with. And in that world, it's basically like you're there forever, for all of eternity. And it is probably not the best thing to... Well, I basically just recalled that, and I was like, oh shit! Man, my plot just became so much darker. So much darker! Wait a minute. Well, I don't want to spoil something not even I have watched. I was just so impatient. I had to know. But then I'm like, after reading that, now that just, oh my god. I mean, I obviously don't. I am still just like, I cannot believe that they went there. Really? I kind of have to see the subtitles just to know for sure. Like, am I interpreting things right? Or is it just, well, it hasn't been subbed yet, so there's no way to know for sure. But, you know, I like the idea of certain things lasting for all of eternity. I mean, obviously, I don't like the idea if someone is suffering for all of eternity. But I do think that the idea is appealing when it comes to some of the good side of that. I mean, obviously, living forever would kind of suck. But it doesn't really matter in the end anyway, does it? Because we don't know if we can live forever. We don't even know if there's life after death. I certainly believe there is, because I've experienced some shit that I cannot possibly have done myself. Like, if I wasn't really interacting with spirits, there is no way in hell I would be able to say some of the things I've said. And there's no way in hell I'd know some of the shit I do now. I mean, really, there's just no way in hell. Okay, he used cost down. Why? I want that card, by the way. Do I have it? And by any chance, do I just happen to have it? Also, why did I just lock myself out of being able to summon Shooting Star Dragon? Don't I know how to play this deck? Apparently I don't. Apparently I want draws now. Apparently the unsubbed episode ended in a draw, if I remember correctly. But I don't know. I haven't watched it. Again, I just don't know. I also don't even understand the episode itself. I did spoil some things for me, but it really reminded me of Higurashi when I heard it. I read it and it reminded me of Higurashi. Yeah. By the way, if you do not know what Higurashi is, you should probably not look it up. Why? Well, because it is infamous for torture and gore and murder. Especially murder and especially torture. It's a murder series that is actually pretty good. The power of friendship is actually in that series too, by the way. Yeah, even there. I'm not even sure how I managed to get through that series, but I did manage to get through it. And I liked it. I mean, I liked that there was more to the series than just murder and torture. There was an actual plot there. It wasn't just more murder and that's it. As opposed to, you know, the recent batch of I don't know if I should say series, considering one of them was more like a glorified recap over and over. Honestly, I don't know what was going on when the last two anime series for Higurashi was produced. Like, continuing that series was already controversial, but the way that it was approached just made it much more controversial. And if you want to know anything about that, then you can Google it if you're able to handle the kind of material that is in that kind of series. Again, this is a murder series I'm talking about, and there is some gore in it. Honestly, there's one scene that made me a bit squeamish, but I was like, I'm alive. I'm not dead. My morals are still there. It was still hard to watch. It was so hard to watch. But I just kept focusing on how much it just made me so human to react like that. Like, good. I know I'm disgusted and I should be. Good. My emotions are working the way they should be. Oh my god. But I don't want to talk about that scene because I don't want to talk about things that are too graphic. I mean, honestly, I'm not going into much detail with you, Belle, but I don't think Higurashi actually gets as bad. I mean, yes, there is torture, but I don't think it gets to the kind of torture that Belle went through. I don't think it's that torturous. However, there is repetition there, and because if you care about Higurashi at all, just watch it yourself. And by the way, make sure you look for the original one. If you see Sotsu or Go or whatever, don't watch those as your introduction to Higurashi, because you will not watch it in its best form. Just saying, if you're going to watch it, just make sure you are looking for the right one, like the original one. And then, I mean, I could tell you the order in the description, but honestly, I'm just like, how many people watching this video are actually going to just bother with Higurashi? I don't know. But I was reminded of Higurashi when I read some of the things I did about the recent episode of, well, not subject. And by the way, I still don't know for sure if that's actually what I read. I don't know if that's actually what. This is why I'm immune to spoilers, because I'm just like, really? Anyone can say this, but is it true? I need the evidence or I don't believe it. Show me the evidence or it's lies. Yeah, that must be why I'm so immune to spoilers. I need the evidence that the spoiler is actually a spoiler. Okay, and then I wonder why people are probably going to be a bit annoyed with my tendency to spoil. Well, again, it's because I don't really have friends in the usual sense. So, I don't have anyone to just talk about this stuff with. But maybe in a way that's a good thing. And because I can just imagine what it would be like to talk to me right now. Especially with my obsession. I mean, I've been obsessed with Yummy Merrick before, so there's that. I was also obsessed with both Merricks, the normal Merrick and his darker half. I was obsessed with both, but honestly, over time I became more obsessed with his darker version, and I became obsessed with writing about torture and murder. Although when I was 12, I apparently liked talking about murder anyway, but when I got into high school, that became worse. I started writing actual torture scenes. Oh my god. Yeah, I had a time where I just didn't... My teenage years were messed up. I mean, honestly, they were really messed up. And I was messed up before I even became a teenager. As the book I recently read, I mean, yeah, obviously. But honestly, I was so messed up that I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to think about it, but then I'm just like... what? What did I just read? What did I just read? Yeah, listen. I wrote something that was very cursed when I was a child. I didn't know what I was writing. Alright, fair. I wouldn't write anything like that again because I can't stomach that shit. That's terrible. But then I'm just like, oh my god. Why? But I'm not going to explain what the deal is here because I've got no. But I will say this. Humans have a short lifespan. I don't know how historically if we weren't necessarily, you know, some of us just died like before we were even 40. Yeah. To continue existing as a species, you may imagine where this goes. And also because, the past was the worst. And so we did what we had to in order to continue as a species. But you are also terrible. Oh god. But I mean, considering living as long as we do now used to be a luxury. Like, it was basically unheard of back in the day. So the age range between mother and child, that it was less, you would be squeamish if I really went into that, but I'm still just like, oh my god, when it comes to mythology and stuff like that. Like, I love mythology and all that, but dear lord, no. But by the way, I would like to call out the Greeks and the Romans in particular. But I'm sure every other mythology pantheon did pretty much the same shit. But the Greeks and the Romans are the ones that I know the most about because of recent, well, basically, I just know the most about those. I don't really pay attention to other mythology stuff, but anyway. I do know some things about the Egyptian mythology. I mean actual Egyptian mythology, not the Egyptian mythology that is represented in Indian, not that mythology, no, I mean the actual mythology. Like, I've got a legitimate interest in ancient Egypt, like, it's not just because of DM. Although, I don't know as much about ancient Egypt compared to Rome. I mean, I wonder why. We're pretty similar to Rome, actually. If we're so similar to Rome, maybe we're going to go downhill like Rome. Let's get our shit together, America. Do we want to copy Rome? Like, letter by letter? Or would we like to surpass Rome and be better than them? Oh my god, no, that's not what this is about. No, I just don't want the country to fall into ruin, that's it. I don't want this country falling into ruin. No. Zone, this is your fault. You made this entire video cursed. That's not true. I'm the one that made it cursed, and I'm not even sure there's any redemption for it. Okay, is there anything I actually wanted to say besides the curse shit? Anything else? Honestly, I'm not sure there's much else to say. Dude, you can see the title there. Well, the reason I'm doing the assists right now is because they're just so easy. But I will probably record more duels of me dueling Zone later. Why? Well, because I want to. For some reason, I like dueling raid bosses. Eventually, I get tired of raid bosses, and then I just spend time recovering. And by the time the next raid boss comes back, I'm like, I'm back. I'm ready for this shit. Apparently, I recovered pretty quickly when it came to Paradox and Aporia. Especially Paradox. I'm not sure why. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap things up for this video. In the next video, I wonder if I'll be able to finish those assist missions. I don't know how many I did in this video.